Welcome to the Booze and the Bees podcast.
Welcome. And good night.
And that's it. Good night.
Hi. Welcome to our episode. Sorry we missed 2 days. Oops.
Yeah, it was birthdays, so it was sort of take some time. We want to make sure that we're consistent and work a lot, but also have time for ourselves and our family, because ultimately that's what we're trying to help people achieve in their life too, is some kind of balance.
Yeah, we're still learning the balance ourselves and learning how to accommodate when we have those off days and stuff. Plus, we do a daily podcast, which is I don't think anybody else. Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess people have daily shows, but they're usually already rich and
they're making money, or it's like a stream and people tip them. We don't get paid to do this.
Yeah, so this is more for our experience and for ourselves. So at least we're not beating ourselves up because we had this goal to do it every day.
Yeah, we missed 3 days total in 3 months. So 3 days in 3 months means we pretty much gave ourselves 1 day a month to say, okay, take a break.
And that is good to flow into the comment that I wanted to address that we got from Kiki and Kids. They say, "Hi, Ella, coming from TikTok. Any advice for up and coming content creators?" So that is my one thing I always say is consistency. The more you can post, the better. And just doing it every day, showing up and posting is really important, but also not doing burnout. So I have had days where I would miss posting on TikTok. Sometimes I'd beat myself up for it too and be like,
But then that takes 2 days out. Whenever she used to do that, she'd beat herself up when she's in a flow and she would miss something, or she'd be overwhelmed and overthink. And then her way to fix the overwhelming is to just give up completely and shut down and take a nap. And then all that momentum we gained would backtrack. So it would be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And just remember, even if you're doing 2 steps forward, 1 back, you still moved a step forward. So don't beat yourself up about it. Make sure you plan and say, why do 2 steps forward, 1 step back when I could just take 1 easy step forward and then another easy step forward, and you're still going forward. So either way works. Some days you got to beat yourself up and really work hard. Some days you can take a break. It's whatever you need to do. And consistency definitely is key.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot, I had a really good comment when you were going. And
oh, no. Gone.
It poofed away. But consistency, not beating yourself up, those are 2 really good ones. And then, there's just so much advice. And on TikTok, I've been doing TikTok now for 3 years consistently. And I've had 6 TikTok pages. And I had one page. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, don't compare yourself to other people during your journey. It's your journey. So that was something that I would do a lot in the beginning, and still sometimes now, is compare.
Yeah, but some people blow up. It might not be you. Some people might get to 100K in a month and you'll say, well, they did it and I'm better than that. Well, that doesn't matter. There's always luck in with skill, right? And I've heard the harder you work, the luckier you get. You put yourself in the better place to be successful, and you're going to notice, even if you really did luck out right at the beginning and you got those 100K followers, if you didn't have the skill, because your first one was based on luck, then you're not going to be able to retain those followers, and you're going to have a lot of load on yourself to do well. And meanwhile, a lot of these creators that did blow up and get really lucky didn't get paid. And so if you're thinking, oh, if only I was like them, it's like that. They made 1 million video once. They got 100,000 subscribers once. They probably made $14. So now they have all the stress of having all these followers with none of the reward yet, because you need to be able to consistently pump out those views to start to get brand deals and things of that nature.
Yeah, because it's not like you get views and then you're going to get rich.
Yeah.
So don't focus on that. Just focus on your community and your videos. And sometimes you're going to work on a video for hours and hours and hours and post it, and it's going to get nothing. And you're going to sit there, keep refreshing, and which is something I advise not to do. Sit there and refresh and for your engagement. And then you're going to have some videos where you literally look a bum. You're in a shower cap and you're about to take a shower and you forgot to get jazzy. And then 2 million people watched it. And you're like, what the heck? I I put so much thought and love into this video and it got nothing. And then, but you can't think like that. Like it really is. Sometimes videos will just flop because the algorithm just didn't push it. Save it, post it again somewhere else, post it again on the same page in a day or two or whatever. That's something that I'm still working on, is recycling stuff. And
there's one thing I heard about recycling today. I was watching a video and somebody said they look at their retention graph and they notice when there's like a sharp dip, they're like, well, what happened at that time that made it not catchy? And
That's
they go
smart.
back and they don't just repost it. They look at when people left and said, how do I increase that second to retain retention?
Also, side note, these are a lot of tips, and don't think you have to take all of them on at once.
Oh,
Just saying.
absolutely. And I say this a lot. It's an anecdote. It's one of my favorite anecdotes. And it's about...
Is it the pots?
Yeah, it's the pots.
I knew it.
It's my favorite one. So there's a pottery teacher, and he has one class, and he tells half the class, your entire grade is going to be based on one pot. It must be perfect. It must be the perfect pot. In the other class, you only have to make an okay pot. It just has to be a pot and hold things. But you've got to make a lot of pots by the end of the year, and you're not graded on how good they are as long as they're good enough. And so one half of the class just goes off and they just start making pots. They start making pots every single day, just pots. And the other side, they start reading books on all the perfect techniques and all the perfect moistures and everything like that, and they don't really practice the craft. Coming to the end of the class, they say, okay, who made the most pots? This side. Who made the better pots? The same side, because they had more practice doing the basic fundamental work. So when you're just starting out, then what we're doing is just keep creating content. And we've heard from Mr. Beast says it's easier to make one video hit 5 million views than, 100 videos adding up to 5 million views. It's a lot easier just to do one really good video. But he has the skills, he has the team, he knows what's going to come from it. For us, it's you're going to have 30 flops and one good one, and then 30 flops, then one good one, and you can start to learn from your good ones what people are liking.
Sorry, did he start like only one good video often, or did he do the videos first and then he
started just doing videos back to back for years with no views.
See, that's how it always is. You think someone just blows up out of nowhere, and you'll even see a page and it looks like they're just blowing up out of nowhere, but they most likely have just already been doing it. And
you can check their page and it might say 4 videos. It might be their 10th account.
Exactly.
And they may have done 100,000 videos at that point. And so doing the videos, don't think of it in your journey as these are going to be great and they're going to blow up. Maybe they do, and we hope they do. Everyone can win. It's not one of those things where it's like you or me. It's like everyone can win.
Yeah.
But just keep pushing at it and keep learning. And don't think like, oh, our video is better than this person. Well, that person may have had 100 videos that were better than the one that you're comparing to their worst video. Right. And people just watch them on their worst. So there's a lot of reasons not to compare yourself to others and just keep moving forward.
And like, also don't think like, oh, this has already been done, so nobody's going to want to watch mine. Like, nobody's you. Find whatever kind of content you want to make. You can experiment and stuff. A lot of people say to pick a niche. A lot of people say to pick a niche. I struggled with that forever because I wanted to be like personality like Trisha Paytas, where I could just post my life. But that was hard because people didn't care about it because they don't know who I am. And so I had to learn how to make catchy beginnings and like catchy titles and stuff to get people interested and hooked and like all of that. So it does really help picking a niche. And then I suggest following other creators in that niche and literally copying their same videos. Just do it as you. You could do it different, obviously it's going to just be different lighting, different surrounding, just a whole different story because it's you. But that's what I would do. I would find creators, like say for Jazz Cabbage, I would find a lot of Jazz Cabbage creators on TikTok and follow them all and then like engage with their stuff. So then more creators like them would pop up on my feed if I wanted to be scrolling for inspiration. And then find the trending sounds that they do. And like I said.
Yeah, you can learn by copying. Learn by copying. And
everybody's copying. Nobody's like inventing a new.
Yeah, The Simpsons has already done it. South Park even made an episode about how The Simpsons already did every episode and every idea, but you can still do it in your own way. You're still authentically yourself.
Yeah.
And also remember, only some people are going to see some of your videos. You might have a couple fans who will watch all of them, but you could do the same video 20 times a little differently and say the same thing. And just remember, if 300 people see it, it might be a different 300 people, give or take 20.
Usually is, yeah.
And so it's repetitive to you. It might not be repetitive to them. And you can still help different people by saying the same thing a little different ways.
That's good advice, because he would tell me that and I'd be so stuck on, no, it has to be different.
It has to be different because these 300 people, I'm like, babe, there's billions of people on the planet. 300 saw it, you know. You're doing the same thing again and again. It actually helps you build a brand image. And some of the companies that we've worked with, right? This is my font. This is my colors, because I want it very consistent. Whenever anyone sees my thing, they see those colors, they see that font, they know it's my video for my brand, and they're immediately recalled to it. You don't have to think, oh, I'm going to do a different font today. I'm going to do a different color. I'm going to do a different style. I'm going to do different. Why? People liked your style. People liked your font and your colors if they watched. So just make the content valuable. And a lot of people, they say literally the same thing.
And a lot of stuff you might not think it's valuable, but it is. So like it really just depends like what kind of content creator you want to be. Also, are you doing it for money? Are you doing it to be creative? Are you doing it to educate? There's like so many different ways to do content creating. It's crazy.
And then for us, we're working on the monetization side, and she's built, 200,000 account here, 90,000 account there. They don't make money because they weren't based on money making necessarily. So if you want to build an account that makes money, that's why she built a separate one in a separate industry and a separate niche to say, this is how we're going to market, because it's the only way you're allowed to market certain products. And but we still want to give value to people by, these are what we really use. This is actually what we do, in our life and how we've improved. And one thing I've heard from a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm not valuable enough because you're not a billionaire, or you're not this or that. You're still valuable to someone by being one step ahead of somebody. Some of my favorite people to follow aren't the super wealthy, because, oh yeah, all I have to do is buy a mega yacht and then I can do a video on it with a film crew with a helicopter. You're like, okay, well, that's out of the picture. So me following your advice is worse than someone who, hey, I just hit my first $5,000 on this platform. Here's how I did it. And you live in an apartment and you're a single mom. You're like, you are probably more closely related to my struggles right now. And that's who I'd want to follow. So you can talk to your audience about where you're at and how you got to where you're at. And someone might relate to your struggles. I mean, it could not be business advice. It could be like, here's how I stopped drinking. Here's how I cut back drinking. Here's how I took fast food off the menu and still got to eat during my 9 to 5, because you still have a job. This is how you still make videos. So you don't have to say, well, I'm not valuable enough because I'm not rich. You're still valuable to somebody who's a little behind you and wants to be where you're at currently.
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice. Because there's always someone ahead of you. And that was a I don't know what they're called, analogy that I heard too, but I'm so bad at saying them and repeating them back. Like, I don't know if you remember, I was trying to tell you about the race one, where you're in a race and you always see like the person ahead of you racing. Oh no, I'm forgetting it. And then there's the sideline people who are going to comment and they're just watching and they're watching the race, but they're not in it. And then you got the people running next to you who are like kind of on the same path. But then you got the people behind you and you never see them. You always see the people ahead of you. So you're
always comparing yourself to that. You're always trying to check to that. You don't know how far you've come. Yeah, exactly. No, that's good.
Yeah, that was one I heard and I really liked it. So I'll practice getting better at telling it.
Yeah, and we're all working here. And that's one thing to note is, I mean, this isn't obviously the best studio setup, but it's far cry from where we started.
Yeah, I wish we were better at like recording our space and stuff and showing befores.
Yeah. It's tough.
What is that
But
noise?
it's a tough game. I don't know. We got some people doing yard work outside. And, it could be water lines, whatever. But they don't even know. They probably can't.
I know y'all can't hear this noise right now, but it's kind of freaking me out. I'll ignore it. But
yeah, you're fine.
Anyways, I think this is really good. I think first advice, like how to, like advice for an up and coming content creator. Up and coming content. Is like someone who's doing it and they're like new in the game, right?
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice is expand the time you think it will take.
Oh, yeah.
We thought it was our year every year for 5 years, right?
Yeah. Almost 5.
Yeah, it's our
But-
rounded up.
Yeah, we've only been together 4 years, but somehow we've been working on this for 5.
Yeah, because we were both individual. We were thinking about it.
Yeah.
Working on it. I made my company more than 5 years ago because we knew that we'd have to have the company established.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's all meant to be.
it's all meant to be.
So post it all. Don't be hard on yourself and make yourself 1% better every day.
Mm-hmm. There is one thing, man. I wish I had my phone to find what it was, but there's the character diamond, and part of being a good character in any movie is being, man, I can't remember all the little traits there are, but part of those traits is that you've got a kryptonite, right? That you've got a weakness, and that you're quirky. And you basically have to be yourself, because nobody likes a superhero where you're just, oh, I'm the best at everything. I have no issues and no problems and everything's fixed. No one watches that movie. They like the character arc of someone who's been through some things and still has weaknesses and still has faults and isn't perfect, because that's what we are. We're not perfect. We have faults. We have, we have the sins that we commit that we like. We overeat. We are lazy. There's things everybody does. So just embrace that part of you. Don't try to be somebody else. Be authentically yourself. Authenticity sells more, and it's easier. You're going to stick with it if you're actually yourself and you actually like doing it.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying if your authentic self is lazy and isn't going to do anything. Well, you can change your authentic self by changing who you are. Like, instead of me saying, oh man, I'm just a big lazy person who overeats because I was 250, I changed my mindset to say, I am somebody who works out this much and who eats on my diet most of the time and allows myself certain breaks like birthdays to relax a little bit. And then I can get back on it because I, as a person, am disciplined. And you just convince yourself, I am the person you want to be. So if you as a content creator is like, oh man, but I just can't get myself to do it. You're like, I am the person who gets up and does it even when it's bad, because I know it's worth doing the work. So just change who you are into the person you want to be, not the person you think the internet wants you to be. The internet's going to always have hate.
Oh,
no matter what you are. So
yeah,
be
you
the
can
person
pretend to
wanna
be somebody, be yourself, you'll get hate. So
yeah,
literally
so
just be yourself.
be the person you want to be. Don't be yourself. Be the person you want to be, who is yourself.
Nice.
Don't be yourself, but be yourself.
Be yourself.
All right.
A good version of yourself.
I think that's good.
Nice. I think so too. Goodbye.
Get out of here.
Goodbye.
Get out of here.
What are you doing? You're still watching. I see you.
Yeah. Wait, don't leave because the retention.
Like and comment.
Like and comment. Yeah,
Now
that's. No, wait. Now out.